Hi everybody, Lori Melton coming at you from Examiner.com. I'd like to send a special shout out to the JAGarmy members who sent me some great questions for my interview with Jeff Gutt. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy our conversation. Alright. Hi everybody, I'm here today with Jeff Gutt. Really excited to kind of give the fans some updates on what's going on, and thank you so much for taking the time with me today, Jeff.
No problem.
It's been great tracking you along the way. I'm just so excited for everything that's happened for you.
Thank you.
Great things on the horizon, and wanted to congratulate you on the band announcements. First, wanted to talk a little bit about your connection to the guys in your band. Gary and Simac are both from Detroit.
CMAC.
CMAC.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. And you worked with Gary on Humanity. You guys produced that together. So did you all grow up together, or do you have a...
No, they're a little younger than me. The band I grew up playing with when I was growing up, going through high school and all that, and after high school was a different group of guys. Steve, the guitar player, joined Our Lady Peace out of Canada for a while, which is cool because we used to learn their songs to play at clubs. So he's doing that. So then Gary and I met like maybe in 2004 or 5 or something, somewhere around there, and we've been playing together ever since, off and on when I wasn't in California doing the dry cell thing. And then CMAC is someone that he's always been in another band at the show. He's always been in one of the other bands. So we've been talking for over probably 2 years now about trying to get something together, and it's just a perfect opportunity to do that. So yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And now Brandon Brown is your drummer.
Yep.
You met him in Dry Cell.
Yep.
And so that was around that. What year was that again?
2000 we started that.
Okay. So, and then Casey Jenkins, how did you connect?
That's a really weird story actually, because I was in Nashville, and I was just practicing some songs out on a patio where there were singers inside doing their because in Nashville there's a lot of places where singer-songwriters have like showcases where they sit there and play and people tip them, and I was sitting outside just practicing, and I felt kind of bad because everyone that was there to see them came out and was sitting out there listening to me, and what ended up being Casey Jenkins, because he was walking by, and I thought he was a bum at first, and he goes, "Can I play your guitar?" I'm like, "Yeah, right." And then I let him come up, and he started playing and singing, and I'm like, "Wow, this guy's incredible." And then I called him, and he had mentioned that he's playing bass now, so I needed a bass player, and it was just like fate intervened and said, "Okay, here's your bass player." So
that's great. That's really... Now, have you guys been doing a lot of Skyping and conferencing lately? Have you
we do a lot of mass text messaging where it's all everyone involved, and then cause I do a lot of recording right now. I'm doing a lot of demos with Gary, so while he's working on moving stuff around and doing stuff on the computer, I'm usually on the phone with one of them, telling them what's going on.
Now, and you play with Gary live now and then. You've been making some appearances here and there with.
I haven't been playing at all actually.
Oh, okay.
I did the New Year's Eve thing, but that was just more of like my friends and family all kind of getting together. It was small. You had to have tickets to get in. There was only a couple hundred tickets, so it wasn't like a gig. It was more like just a family get together, and it's right after I got back, so it was perfect. Now,
the burning question in the fan community right now is, do you have a name for the band or anything you can share with us?
I'm going over that with the lawyers right now, trying to figure that out. I think I'm leaving in a few weeks to go start rehearsals with the band in LA, so I'll probably come up with it around then, once we get together and I talk with them about everything, because I want to make sure everything's cool with them too. I don't want to be like, hey, this is the way everything's going to go, and which I could, but I want them to be a part of it too, because I want it to be a real band. So I don't want it to be a dictatorship per se. I want them to, not that I'm gonna they're gonna come up with the band name. I think it's gonna have something to do with my name, but that's about as much as I can say about that.
Okay. And what about, is there anything you can share yet on your record deal? Any news you can share?
No, I can't yet because my lawyers have told me distinctly don't talk about any deal stuff because I mean there's just so much going on with that. I mean like you know, Simon still has certain rights to it, and then I mean there's a certain time frame he has on that, and then we'll see what happens because. They're out talking about things as we speak.
Okay.
That's about all I can say.
And I know a lot. One of the questions that I just got plied with from a bunch of people is where are you at in the writing process? Have you written any new songs yet? And do you have a time track for the future? Do you have a goal? You're going to have your album out in a certain length of time. I mean, we know that writing and recording is a really lengthy and complex process, but I think everyone's a little excited and they just want to know.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's going to depend on once the deal is done, and then a lot of things will depend on that. Because once the deal is done, then you have to figure out, okay, who are we making the record with, what kind, you know, and then you have to cater the record a little bit towards, you know, what they want as well, because you can't just do everything the way you want to do it in the music industry, unfortunately. But you know, there's going to be a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of conversations that have to take place. But I mean, I've been writing new songs, demoing over at Gary's studio, and we've just been working at that and trying to get as many new songs as we can ready to go for when we start the rehearsals in a few weeks.
Well, I'd just like to say it's been a complete joy for me as a writer. Your fan community is so passionate and so inspiring in and of itself, and I just think that speaks to you as an artist and how inspiring you are, and it's just been a complete honor following you, and just the outreach has been tremendous, and the stories that fans have just shared with me randomly via email and things that I've gotten is just, in all the years that I've been writing for Examiner so far, I've just never had an outpouring like this, so I think it's a pretty cool thing, and I wanted to pass that along. And I know you've read and received some of those stories of fans that their lives have just been impacted so much by your story and your songs. And what does that mean to you? What has that meant to you?
That means everything. I mean, because that's why I do it. You know, it's, I mean, if people hated what I did, I would probably have to do something else. So it's always great to know that there's support there, and it's hard sometimes, you know, because you can't answer everyone, and there's a lot of people that are suffering out there that need help, and I can't be there for all of them the way they want me to, and that's been the most difficult part about all of that. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of messages I haven't even seen or read, but I mean, I try to get on there as much as I can, but I'm really just trying to write right now, and that's my main focus, and trying to get as much done there as I can.
Well, I think everybody's behind you on that, and I think everybody's going to support that because they're really excited for your first project. And another thing, over and over repeatedly, people have expressed to me, and even in my interaction with you, just how humble you are and how grounded you've remained thus far. And what do you think the key is to staying grounded as you become even more famous than you already are? Say when you've aced a sold-out tour, or when you've won your first Grammy, how are you going to stay grounded?
I think not taking yourself too seriously is the main thing about that. I mean, if you think that it begins and ends with you, then you know you're going to have a hard time, and you know, all those things can be taken away from you at some point. You know, so what I hold you know, closest to my heart is just, you know, my family and my friends and my music, and that's what I try to concentrate on. Anything other than that just becomes a distraction.
So I'm going to roll into some of these wonderful fan questions that I've received, and I just want to thank everyone for taking the time to send such awesome questions to Jeff today. Missy JAGarmy wants to know, how many tattoos do you have? Do any of them have special meaning, and are you going to get some more? Or are you done?
Oh, I'll get some more, definitely. I mean, I haven't had that one finished in a long time, but I haven't finished this one because it was it was just one. I was living at a hotel at this point in LA, and I was bored one night, and I was kind of right by Hollywood, so I was like, well, I might as well go get a tattoo. So I went and got this, and I never got it finished because I feel like I have unfinished business as well. So I'll get it finished once I get the record deal and all that stuff's in place. And there's definitely, I mean, how many tattoos I have, I don't know how you count them. I mean, there's a Taurus right there, you know, a Taurus symbol. I was born the year of the dragon, you know, the lunar calendar, and so I have dragon stuff on me, and there's an Om, and I designed this one myself with all the tribal, my initials in the front, and yeah, I mean, I have tattoos on my back. I have a big one on my back that was started when I was maybe 19 years old, and then the guy ended up dying in a car accident before he finished it. So his partner wouldn't touch it, and his partner ended up, who gave me my first tattoo, was just on. His name is Jimmy Litwalk, and he was just on Ink Masters, and he came in second place. Go figure, he came in second place too. So, maybe I'll go down to him. He's in Orlando now, and have him finish it for Chuck, who's the guy who started it that died. So that, you know, it's been enough time gone by, and if anyone was going to finish it, I want him to finish it. So there's definitely a lot of meaning behind some of my some of them are just stupid and have no meaning at all, and I was bored like that one, you know. But, so I don't know, you know, I don't know how to count them. I mean, I have many.
Lynette Archer would like to know, are you an adrenaline junkie? Someone that loves roller coasters, flying, etc. And if so, what's the most outrageous thing you've ever done?
Ooh. I'm not an adrenaline junkie, but I like to do that stuff from time to time. The craziest thing I ever did, and it wasn't even my doing, was it was when I was on tour with Dry Cell. We were driving through the desert on our tour bus, and we stopped, and I was asleep because it was like 10 o'clock in the morning, and I mean, I was out cold. And I have a thing, and my son has it too, where like when my mom used to wake me up for school in high school, and then she'd tell me all the stuff, and I'd have a full conversation with her, and I wouldn't remember any of it. Like, I would like become coherent like during like the second hour of school, you know what I mean? So
yeah, I do.
And I wouldn't remember anything that happened before that. So this was one of those situations where I was asleep on the bus, and the guys in Dry Cell woke me up and took me and were walking me around, and I was like, okay, what are we doing? And all of a sudden I come to, and we're on this roller coaster, and it's clicking up. You know what I mean? At one point, it was the tallest wooden roller coaster in the world or something. It's out in the middle of the desert somewhere.
Wow.
So yeah, I basically woke up and was like, wait, where am I? And I'm on a roller coaster, and here we go. So that was the most adrenaline rush I probably ever had.
That is really wild. Sarah Aronis wants to know, if you could spend an hour with some historical figure, musician or not, who would you choose?
Ooh. I usually get musician questions, but I mean, I would probably say John Lennon would be up there, and then after that, I mean, it would have to be someone like Gandhi or someone, you know, someone that has a lot of insight and a lot, you know, just someone who's, you know, historically renowned for the person they were. So it would have to be someone like that, I would have to say.
Cheyenne Patterson would like to know, when you're writing, which comes first, music or lyrics?
They kind of come at the same time, but it's more of the sound of the lyric than the actual lyric when I'm writing, and then I put the lyrics, I fit the lyrics into what the sounds are. I could come up with, you know, just a melody and the vowel sounds throughout the melody, and then fill in the consonants later.
And Karen Lindner made you a beautiful necklace.
Yeah.
She's wanted me to tell you she hopes you're enjoying the necklace, and she'll love making it. She sent me a scenario. Your tour bus broke down, and you're stranded on the side of the road, and I'm coming to pick you up. Do I bring the 1962 Vet or the Harley?
Depends on what the temperature is outside. Because if it's like it is here in Michigan, then I would say the Vet.
she also put a qualifier on that. If you want her to bring the Harley, you're going to do the driving. If you want her to bring the Beth, she'll drive. She wanted me to pass that along. So, Nettie Young wants to know, how does it feel to have such a diverse age group of fans, from kids to grandparents?
That's awesome. I mean, that's something I take a lot of pride in. That, you know, it's not just the older people that like me, or it's not just the younger people that like me. And it's very strange when a parent comes up to me and says that their kid is a huge fan, and the kid is 3 or 4 years old and is freaking out because I'm there, and that's very strange to me. But it's just awesome. You know, having support is what keeps me going a lot of times.
And along those lines, aspiring rock star, 9-year-old Isaac, wants to know, what songs did you like to play on the guitar when you were 9 years old? And what was your favorite video game? Or do you have a favorite video game now?
Ooh, my favorite song to play when I was 9 years old. I was really into a lot of folk music when I was younger, and then I got into rock. But there was one song I used to play all the time because it was just. Because it was fun to pick it, you know. So yeah, I used to play that all the time because I used to love finger picking.
That's a great one.
I couldn't play it that well when I was 9 though. It was a process.
Heather McKinney wants to know, she had read our interview that we did and asked about your favorite movie, and it was Basquiat.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to know, at the ending credit, by the way, she says it is a great movie, thanks for the recommendation, and after the movie's over in the ending credits they play Hallelujah. Is this where you got the inspiration to sing the song?
I had no idea they did that.
Oh really? Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's neat. That's
coincidence.
And Donna Padilla wants to know, do you think it's important to stay connected to your fans, and will you have meet and greets at your shows?
I'll absolutely have meet and greets at my shows. As far as staying connected to the fans, I try to do that as much as I can, but it's not. I think also being away can also be just as intriguing as being right in everyone's face, you know. And I think that a lot of my heroes are a lot of the people that, you know, are anti-red carpet and anti, you know, over publicity kind of, because it's more about the music, you know, and whenever I can reach out and connect with the fans, I will. But I think that being reserved and being away and being a little more mysterious can have a lot of a huge effect. Just as much as being right in everyone's face and trying to appease everyone, because you can't make everyone happy, and when you try to, it's just gonna end in disappointment. So
now, so many people have had such varied and strong emotional connections to your music. Is there an artist that you had a really strong hear their stuff and it just really grabbed you?
Yeah. Bob Dylan, when he's saying times are changing, you know, times are changing. He was talking about, you know, the culture of what was going on at the time. Because before then, this is gonna be hard for kids today to understand, but there was a time when the parents were God, you know, and the kids did everything that the parents said, and you know, being staying, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? But kids would always listen to their parents, and then at a certain point they started to rebel and say, hey, we're our own people too, and that was that time frame when, you know, when Bob Dylan was coming out singing about times are changing, and that's what he was singing about, and it was the voice of the youth and what was going on at the time. And then Kurt Cobain did the same thing. With Smells Like Teen Spirit, and all the stuff that he did, and that's how he changed music overnight. When that song came out on MTV and it played, all the bands that were signed got dropped, and everyone went to Seattle to start signing bands because of that guy, you know, and because he connected so well. Because I mean, it's kind of like how music is now. I feel, you know, I think there's a disconnect between what's going on and what's going on with people's lives and what's being put out musically. I think there's a disconnect, and I think that needs to get back to that.
Are you going to try to bridge some of that gap?
I mean, that's a huge, tall task, but I mean, that's not my intention. I'm just trying to write songs about things that mean something to me, and just, you know, try to write songs that make people feel something. And if I start from there, then I think I'll be in a good place.
Now, that is several people ask the same question. Is there anything in particular you're drawing inspiration from right now in the writing process?
Just life and situations. You know, like I don't try to get too, you know, detailed about what I'm writing in a song. I think leaving it up for the listener's interpretation, it has a lot to do with it. And what one song means to one person might mean something else to a different person. So I try to stay away from this is what this song means and this is what it's about. And, you know, I try to just let it go, and whoever gravitates towards it for whatever reason, that's what it's for. You know, it's not for me to specifically say that this is what the song is about.
Melissa Laura would like to know, if you could only listen to one album for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Wow. Probably the White Album, Beatles, or
awesome rocker.
or Sgt. Pepper, one of the two.
Yeah, awesome rocker. And what song do you remember most from your childhood?
Oh, the Ella Fitzgerald, by Gordon Lightfoot.
Yeah,
I love that song. His
one.
Voice and the story behind it. Because my grandparents used to own bars and restaurants up right on Lake Superior.
Oh, awesome.
Like, so we used to go up there all the time, and then, you know, I heard that song, and it was about, you know, a ship going down Lake Superior, and it just, I don't know, I felt like a connection to it. So yeah, I've always loved that song. Yeah. Even all 17 verses of it.
So you were you a going up north kid in your childhood? You didn't do a lot of going up north then. That's a Michigan thing. Some people don't know what you're saying when you're saying, yeah, we're going up north for the weekend. And, yeah.
Up to the UP.
Yeah.
You can do the UP with your hand too, though. You know.
Yeah.
You can do it like that. Right up there.
Yeah.
Grand Marais.
Yeah. Yeah.